Hello everybody and welcome back to Red Eagle Politics. Make sure you guys like this video down below and subscribe to the channel if you are new. So, it's important today that we talk about the state of Arizona. We talked about the state of Pennsylvania a few days ago, talked about how Donald Trump finally took the lead in the polling aggregate in the state of Pennsylvania. And we also talk about how Biden needs to win Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Arizona, all three of those states, to win the 2024 presidential election. But Donald Trump, he's up in Michigan by 3.5 points. He's up in Pennsylvania. And also, which is kind of surprising because it seems like Arizona's moved left in recent elections, Donald Trump is a 5.2% lead over Joe Biden in the state of Arizona. And in the five-way race, which technically there are less polls, his lead expands to 6.4%. And you will have the Green Party on the ballot. Not sure about Cornel West, but you look at Kennedy, RFK Jr., he has enough potential signatures to get on the ballot as well. So you're looking at this, well, Donald Trump, he's in a very, very good position in the state. And this is a state that he would like to have. If he gets Georgia, which he's up by over 5, he gets Wisconsin, and technically you could look at Nevada. Nevada wouldn't technically matter at that point, but if he gets Arizona, he has 272 electoral votes. It's another path to victory. This is a state that Donald Trump would like to have back in his column. He does have pathways without it. He wins with just Georgia and Pennsylvania and his 2020 states. But if he adds Arizona, it would be absolutely huge for his potential to win. And I think that there's a very good chance that the polls are onto something because we talk about Arizona. It is a border state. It is a state that is down there by Mexico, and that we know. And you look at Joe Biden's approval rating on the issue of immigration, Biden currently is at an all-time low. He's down by over 30 points on the issue of immigration. Even members of his own party disapprove of him on the issue because he's been awful. He went out there, and what exactly did he do? He got rid of the policy that Trump had in place that stopped the first potential signs of a border crisis back in 2019. He essentially got rid of that. He's done nothing but sit up here, ignore the issue, apologize to illegal alien murderers for calling them illegal instead of apologizing to the family that he butchered the victim's name during the State of the Union. On top of that, he's blaming Republicans for trying to, shoot down a bill that would have probably made the border problem worse in the grand scheme of things. And it's like everything Biden did to cause the crisis was done via executive action. He could just use executive action to go out here and, reinstitute the policies that were instituted when he took over. And he has done nothing of the sort because this is intentional. It's intentional incompetence, and then it's, supplemented by gaslighting and trying to imprison a political opponent. But I believe that the American people understand what is going on. They understand the corruption in the justice system, the corruption in the media, the corruption within this administration, and that's why Biden's not doing so well. But immigration is a key issue in the state of Arizona. Biden's also struggling with Hispanic voters as well. And that's a problem. I think he might win. Obviously, I think he'll win the Hispanic vote. But still, could Donald Trump get close to 40% because Biden is that unpopular? I believe he could. And I think that that would doom Biden in many places in Maricopa County and give Donald Trump a leg up. And also, you didn't really see a big third-party vote share in 2020. You did see it in 2016. Donald Trump got like 48% or so, and we can go back to 2016. Yeah, Donald Trump got 48% of the vote in Arizona, which was lower than Mitt Romney's 54%. But Trump was able to win because a lot of those, squishy so-called Republican rhinos who like John McCain, they voted third party. 2020, there's not a lot of third party vote. 2024, there's more options. There's more options now, which is likely going to give Donald Trump the advantage. And you could look at this, every single poll that has been conducted since August has had Donald Trump in the lead, whether the polls have been Republican internal polls, national polls, Democrat polls, you name it. Fox News also has Donald Trump up by 4 points. They actually nailed 2022. 2022 will be the cope for why Republicans can't win the state. But in turn, Donald Trump and Joe Biden were not on the ballot, so it's kind of a moot point altogether, and that we know. I mean, you look at what's going on now, what are going to be the issues defining and changing turnout metrics. It seems like overall you have the economy, which is a winning issue for Trump, and you have immigration, which is the winning issue for Donald Trump. And if Trump is making gains with Hispanics compared to 2020 and he maintains his totals with white voters, that means he's going to probably not lose ground in Maricopa County. It means on top of it, he might gain in Pima. He's definitely, in my opinion, going to gain a lot in places like Yuma County. Kari Lake did much better than Trump there. And we've yet to see how some of these other counties are going to vote. But still, he's going to run it up in the exurbs, run it up in the smaller metro areas, and then stagnate in places that have been more friendly to Democrats in recent years, just because Biden is that unpopular. Some of that's going to be driven by third-party, votes, and that we know. But you look at this, Trump's already polling in 3 polls in the aggregate. He's at 49%. That's absolutely huge, because if he gets 49%, he's going to win the state of Arizona just based on the higher third-party vote share. So you look at this, it seems like Biden is in a whole lot of trouble right now, because this is a state he needs to win. Pennsylvania is a state he needs to win. Michigan's a state he needs to win. Now, we have primaries tomorrow. You have Ohio, the Senate race there. That's going to be something to watch. Illinois, they have their down-ballot primaries. Arizona has their presidential primary as well. Now, I will say this, obviously the races are basically determined. You're not going to really have a reason for one side to turn out more so than the other. But if Donald Trump is getting a high share of the Republican vote total, and Joe Biden is not doing so well with energizing voters, even compared to 2020, that is something to watch, because that means that there is some issue in terms of energy among Joe Biden and his own base and the Democrats themselves. So we will be watching that. But Arizona as a whole, party registration since 2020 has moved to the right. And Republicans had a 130,454 registration advantage in November of 2020. And then on top of that, Republicans now, and this was January, it's gone up since then. I think it's like 100,000. Some of that might have been anticipation for crossover votes in the primary. We'll see what happens tomorrow night. I will be live streaming. But now Republicans have expanded their advantage significantly since November of 2020. So that means that more people are paying attention. You have razor-thin margins in 2020. Well, now you're going to see that pendulum potentially shift back just because of the fact that Joe Biden is extremely unpopular and Donald Trump's administration by every single metric was better than Biden's administration, mainly in terms of a lot of economic metrics, but also when it comes down to the border crisis, because under Trump's administration, you didn't have one. Yes, there was illegal immigration. Yes, there was a little bit of a struggle to get funding for X amount of miles of the wall. But still, when it comes down to it, you didn't have this border crisis of, millions upon millions of people pouring in every year because Donald Trump took executive action to mitigate that potentially from happening. Biden, he stripped that day one. Now you look at what's happening. Now Trump's up by over 5 in Arizona. We got a long way to go. I'm not saying it's over. A lot can change in the next 7 to 8 months. But, I was a little bit iffy on the state just based off of how it's been recently. But still, now I'm looking at it and I'm saying I think Trump's the favorite in Arizona as well. And he's got a big lead in Arizona. And if he's up by 5.2%, I think that you would anticipate Kari Lake would win as well, because I can't imagine a lot of people going out there voting for Donald Trump. He's like at 49% or whatever. And then they turn around and vote for Ruben Gallego, who is a far left disaster. So when it comes down to it all, it's like, yeah, if Trump's really going to be winning Arizona by 5, Kari Lake is going to win. I mean, it's just the way that it works. Arizona is a state that has a history of splitting tickets, but the two are relatively similar to the point where I can't imagine a whole lot of ticket splitting at the end of the day when it comes down to that. Now, maybe if you had somebody else as the Republican nominee, it could be a different story. Same thing goes for who the Senate nominee would be. But if the Senate nominees are similar to Donald Trump, when Donald Trump is on the ballot, that is a good thing. I think that that's what you're seeing in Ohio as well. You know, if Bernie Moreno becomes the nominee, you'll probably have less ticket splitters than you would if somebody that Trump is not really a big fan of becomes the nominee. Still, I think both would win, Dolan and Moreno, but still, we'll see what happens in the primary. It should be a very close race in Ohio tomorrow. Should be a close race in November, which is why we need to get out and vote. But still, the fact that Trump has this lead in Arizona is extremely encouraging for November. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching this video. Like this video down below, comment down below, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications so you never miss another video. Follow me on social media. The links are all in the description down below, and I will see you guys in the next one. Red Eagle, out.